I am the of my soul. I am beautiful and bountiful. I am the of my soul. I am beautiful and bountiful. I am the Lord of my soul. I am beautiful and bountiful. I am the Lord of my soul. I am beautiful and bountiful. I am Jayama, 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 Jayama. Jayama, 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 Jayama.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. Bhakti was a familiar experience at Saturday, every day when we were at our other location. And so it's been, how long have we been here? Well, COVID. COVID was the interruption point. So we've been here since 21, I think, and I hadn't seen you for a year and a half before that. And so we're very happy to welcome you back. And Joseph, that includes you too, but I get to see you all the time. Good morning, every day. Again, because it is such a beautiful morning, right? It deserves more than one good morning. And between Bhakti's music and Denise's reading, I really don't have anything left. So, we can eat now. Because they both so perfectly work with what it is that I'm talking about today. So just to remind you, our theme for the year is New Perspectives. And this month, we are doing something for me has been a tradition since I have been in the science of mind, and I've stopped counting how long that is. And that is to review these first 4 sessions of the Science of Mind book. Because they really encapsulate the essence of the teaching and the philosophy. And today we're talking about how life works. And we're also going to talk a little bit about how it doesn't. Because we have a lot of ideas about how life should work. You know, especially people who have studied the science of mind, I find have a lot of ideas about how life should work. Because we have an idea, any one of us has an idea, has a thought, draws a conclusion, and if it's not the highest idea, well, the divine should know better and step in and just do what the highest idea is. But that's not how it works. So last week we talked about the beginning. And there was a point at which is still undefined because it isn't like it was some kind of magical happening in the universe. There was a point at which we, regardless of how we evolved into being the human beings that we are today, we were sent out on our own, if you will, with free will. It's like, here you go. You're old enough to be on your own now, so here you go. Well, that's really good news, right? Having free will is really good news. It's really empowering. It is really the only way that we can know that we're ever in control of anything. It's really good news. The other news is that there is nothing that interferes with it. So if our choice of how we're using free will, morning everybody. Morning everybody. I always mean to say hello to everybody online and sometimes it takes me a minute. So it's up to us how we use our free will. Free will, that's what it means. Free will. And yet, some of us at least, maybe nobody in this room, but we know people who still hope that the greater mind, the one that knows and knows that it knows, will step in and save us from ourselves. If our choice isn't so great, isn't exactly what we need. Nope. It's not what happens. Have you noticed?
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, we notice not only in our own lives, but we also notice in the world. Because we look out into the world and we look at all the things that could be fixed if something would just step in and fix them. But that's not how it works. How it works is by honoring our free will and supporting our free will. One of the phrases in the Ernest Holmes quote that Denise shared is the universal subjective mind being entirely receptive to our thought. Whoa. Being entirely receptive to our thought is compelled by its very nature. And it does not ever go against that nature. It can't. Or it wouldn't be all. It is compelled by its very nature to accept that thought and act upon it. Well, that's great if the thought is great. It's not so great if the thought isn't great. No matter what the thought may be. And you know, why me, God, right? Why do I have the who's he was it in the Chingadera and um, I'm a good person. Good for us. We are good people. And we do mean well. And we don't believe necessarily that our thoughts carry that much weight until we see it show up in our lives. Because that's how it works, is it shows up as a reflection. So we get to have exactly the experience we're thinking about, just pop up like a jack in the box and go, hi, here I am. This is what you were thinking. This is what you were afraid of, because that's a thought. Or did you not know fear was a thought? This is what you were mad about. This is what you were resentful of. Anger, resentment, fear. All thoughts. The thought comes first.
Yes.
As it did in the beginning. The thought comes first. Now, everybody breathe. Don't look so mopey. It's all right. And the reason it's all right is because we can change our mind.
Amen. There it is.
We aren't stuck with that thought. In fact, the minute we start to have a new thought and actually invest in it and give it some juice, the other one takes off. We don't know where it goes, and we don't care. It doesn't hang around because we're not focused on it anymore. What we're focused on increases. What we don't focus on diminishes because it's not getting our energy anymore. So, sure, it can feel disappointing sometimes that the divine doesn't step in, that the universe doesn't step in, that spirit doesn't step in, that Krishna doesn't step in and save us from ourselves. But we can't have it both ways. We just can't. We can't have free will and be saved by something that steps in and makes a decision for us. And that isn't just true of us. So, as many opinions as we may have about other people's behavior or choices, they are exercising their free will as an individualized expression of the one, even though we may think they sure don't look like the one. But that is our
Judgment.
Opinion.
projection, judgment, opinion. It's our idea, it's our perspective, exactly. And all of, how does the song go? Wishing, hoping, thinking, and praying, planning, and something. All of that combined is not going to change it
Mm-hmm.
because it is the way it works. So, how do we really get serious about turning up the energy on this amazing authority we have in our own lives? Well, first, we come to a realization, we're open to an understanding that we're the ones who are in charge of us,
Mm-hmm.
not of anything else, and for sure, not of anyone else. We're in charge of us. Okay? So I'm in charge of me, and if I desire to have more fulfilling, more expansive, more delicious experiences in my life, then I better be thinking about that and not waiting for someone else or something else to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize how dependent we may have become over our lifetime on the idea of this something. Whether it's our boss giving us a raise or us being noticed in a way that we've not been noticed before or heard in a way that we've not been heard before. I mean, find people who are willing to listen. Find people who are willing to see. Don't hang out with the same old people expecting a different result.
Mm.
Really. And maybe some relationships will fade away or have to be sent away. Maybe some people in our lives, even people we're related to, will have to be, there'll need to be some kind of mutually beneficial distance rather than us being ticked off all the time because anytime we're together with them or anytime we have a conversation with them, they're so aggravating. We're the ones who are aggravated. Our suffering
Mm.
is our choice.
Mm. Mm.
Our suffering is our choice. Now, that isn't a suggestion that we look at the world or we look at the family or we look at our circumstances or whatever the case may be and we have compassion. Compassion is not suffering.
Mm.
Compassion is a deep caring about all beings, and it belongs with all beings. It doesn't just belong with human beings. It belongs with all beings. It belongs with all life. Our compassion is love, is love in action. Just thinking about things, thinking about someone, thinking about a circumstance, thinking about a situation with compassion is our love in action. Because we aren't thinking about how hopeless it is. And why aren't we thinking about how hopeless it is? Ooh. We aren't thinking about how hopeless it is because it isn't. If there is one life, and that life is all life, including everyone and everything that has ever been or ever will be, including us, before, after, and during, if that life is all life truly, then at the center of everything, there is that life.
Mm-hmm.
And by using our compassion, by putting our love in action, we are acknowledging that there is something that we cannot see, nor can we understand, but there is something at the center of all things that is life enhancing, life promoting, life affirming. And how can I say that with such conviction? Because the life that it is expanding and enhancing and affirming is its own.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no exceptions.
Right.
Now, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. If it sounds like I'm lecturing, because I am, this is square one.
Yeah.
So get on board with me. Let's play hopscotch. Anybody remember hopscotch?
Mm-hmm.
We're standing on square one. And when we're ready, we're going to move to square two. And we need to be ready. And that's the last little bit I'm going to talk about this piece. The life that we say we want, whether it's for us or for the world. The health that we say we want, the guidance that we say we want, the clarity that we say we want. Whatever in the world it is we say we want, we've got to be ready to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's fine to just sit around and have coffee and talk about all the things we think we want. But if we're not ready for that change in our life, if we're not ready to receive it and accept it and allow it, then we're wasting our time and our breath.
Mm.
So how do we prepare? Because being ready requires preparation, right? If you're going on a trip, you pack. Some of us. I have friends who hardly take anything when they travel, so, and I'll never understand. But we prepare. Well, we prepare through spiritual practice, because spiritual practice, whether it's reading or meditating or listening to inspiring talks on YouTube or podcasts or reading inspirational books, whatever it is, that helps to keep our mind where we want it.
Mhm.
Because our mind on its own has too much practice going the other way.
Mm.
It has way too much practice feeling afraid, worrying about the worst possible outcome, never thinking about the best possible outcome. Our mind on its own has way too much practice. And it likes to go back to what's familiar because that's what it knows.
Mhm.
So the tools that we have in this giant red Craftsman tool chest that I like to talk about, the tools that we have in that tool chest are endless. And at any time, we can take a tool out of that tool chest, which is why it's there, so that we can use it to make a difference. To make a difference in where our thought has left the building. And it is no longer supporting us. It is no longer supporting us. It's no longer supporting the truth of the world. It's no longer supporting our immediate environment. It's bailed. So we take out our tools and we use those tools to help us stay on track.
Mhm.
We talk to a practitioner. We talk to like-minded others. And I don't mean like-minded in other ways. I mean specifically like-minded in terms of knowing that our entire life can change for the better on a dime.
Mhm.
But we have to believe it to see it. And so we work on our beliefs. And we ask ourselves, really, when an old thought crops up, an old moldy, yucky, distracting thought crops up, we ask ourselves, do I really know that to be true? Do I actually believe that anymore? Is that helpful? Is it supporting me? Is it supporting anybody? Rather than just going off down the lane of letting go of our authority and thinking what everybody else is thinking and saying what everybody else is saying. We are individualized expressions of the one. Unique, fabulous, beautiful, abundant, amazing in and of ourselves.
Yep.
And there is nothing that needs to come along that can or will make an improvement on that. So I think it's time. I think it's time for us to recognize the authority we have in our own life. I think it's time for us to recognize the authority in our life that has been usurped by our brain buying into whatever, and to take that authority back and stand in it and work on our beliefs so that we can actually not only see the evidence of those beliefs, but experience them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it is.
And